Yep, back so soon. And not even a wardrobe change. Haha. Okay, so you guys got my intro to evolution. Now let's go into a little bit more about section 1 and what it talks about. So, here we go. Okay. All right, so what is evolution again? Let's just kind of do a quick recap. A change in the genetic makeup of species over time. That's a great way to define it. It's very simple, right? A change in the genetic makeup of a species over time. So if you ever find it hard to believe that evolution has occurred, well, that's kind of an easy way to believe what evolution is. And again, I'm so for evolution, but I have to say that over time I've allowed myself to understand a little bit more about it. So the genetic makeup of a species over time, that definitely has happened. We've seen that in our own race. So the observation that species change over time. All right, so just easily put. So it's not all about Darwin. All you seem to hear is Darwin this and Darwin that, and he came up with this and blah, blah, blah. Okay, no, not to discount Darwin, but there are so many other people that actually played a huge role in coming up with some of the theories for evolution. So he did not come up with the idea. Let's just go ahead and change that right now. Idea of evolution. Many naturalists before Darwin had observed that species change. Okay, Darwin explained that basically species change. Easy enough, right? He explained what caused evolution to occur, the mechanism of it. Okay, so that's kind of a really important part. By the way, this is a picture of the dude. Pretty good looking, right? Just kidding. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe back in the day he was. Okay, so that's a little bit on Darwin, but here were some of the other thoughts. Okay, so you got a little bit about Darwin in the intro. I talked about the 4 main things. Let's talk about all the theories that are out there. Here we go. Get ready for the ride of your life, baby. Okay, no, just kidding. I hope I don't bore you too much, but I am going to present to you fairly quickly some of those theories out there. So, of course, you have the creation theory. Some people will argue that this is not a theory at all, but I'm going to propose it to you guys because, of course, everyone knows it exists out there as far as one of the theories, okay? So the days of creation. Day 1, heavens and earth, light and day. Day 2, these are what God created. If you don't know this, hey, go do some more research. Read the Bible. It's pretty cool, okay? But day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. Basically, God created the earth in 7 days. And day 6 was when man was created. Okay, day 7, rest. That was the holy day, so that's the Sabbath. But that is the creation, okay, the biblical accounts of kind of how this earth came to be. Now, well, okay, I'm not going to go into any more because really you could still fit a lot of the evolution theories within the creationism as well, but that's again for you guys to go and determine for yourselves. So again, day 1, day 2, day 3, so you have the God divided the light from the dark, the sky from the land and the water. God created land, trees, grass. God created the sun, the moon, the stars. Day 5, he created the sea creatures, and he created, what does that say? Oh, God rested on day 7. Sorry, I skipped day 6. God created land, animals, and man. Okay? Then, just a little bit more, the flood, okay, Genesis 6, 7, and 9. Those are chapters 6, 7, and 9. So you have before the flood, kind of what the earth may have looked like. After the flood, there you go. Diversity at creation. So basically, at the time of creation, you had all the diversity there was to be, okay? Not to say that survival of the fittest didn't happen and some microevolution occurred over time, but pretty much at the time of creation, you had all of the diversity there, okay? The passengers that basically Noah got onto the ark. Again, a really cool story. If you don't know it, go to the Bible. It's pretty cool. But that was one of the theories out there. History of evolutionary thought. So before Darwin, okay, the concept of evolution predates Darwin actually 2,000 years. That's not always widely accepted by many scientists, but nonetheless. Fossils known long before Darwin and recognized as remains of organisms. Okay, so you have Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC. Crazy, that was so long ago. Okay, organisms couldn't be arranged on a natural scale of increasing complexity. That's what Aristotle came up with, along with species fixed and unchanging. That's what Aristotle thought. They were fixed, they didn't change at all. Okay, you have Carolus Linnaeus, who was kind of the father of taxonomy, which is, we'll talk about that second semester, but the whole naming of all the different species. But he believed in natural theory, so studied nature to understand the creator. Developed binomial nomenclature, which is kind of the species genus name, the two names that we really give to everything. Didn't intend the system to reflect evolutionary relationships. Okay, you have James Hutton, who basically thought of gradualism, and I'm gonna let you guys read a little bit more of this in your lesson, because otherwise, like I said, you'll probably be falling asleep drooling on your computer. And I don't want you to do that, because of course with this part it's really hard to give good visuals. So go to your lesson and read a little bit more about these people. Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, from 1744 to 1829, he had the theory of the old earth, adaptation, natural change with divine guidance. So he did believe in evolution, but there was kind of some divine guidance in that. Thomas Malthus, he believed in population increase led to competition for survival. Jorge Cuvier, paleontology, catastrophism. Okay, so some interesting thoughts there. So go to your lesson and learn more about that. Charles Lyell, uniformitarianism. Sorry if I say that too fast and I sound like a blah, 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 just like that, right? Okay. So some visuals. I did find this lovely image. Now, not that this is gonna help clarify everything for you, but it does give you a picture of kind of everybody's thoughts and where they lie. Okay. So back here you have the American Revolution, and this doesn't go back to Aristotle's time, but it does start in the kind of early 1700s. You have Linnaeus, Hutton, Lamarck, Malthus, Cuvier, and then down here you have Hutton proposes the theory of gradualism in 1795, and so on. So, pause this. You can do that, right? It's a video. Pause it, look at it, take a look at kind of when everything came about, and look where Darwin is, okay? Kind of came about in the middle to the end of kind of a lot of these findings, so kind of interesting. So I don't want everyone to give Darwin all this credit, not that he doesn't deserve some, but there's some other people that came up with some great thoughts and points to all these different theories as well. Okay, so some evidence for evolution, because there are some vast amounts of evidence for evolution. 3 things scientists definitely agree on. The Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. Okay? Crazy to think about that. And when we start Biology B, you guys are going to learn all about what's happened in those 4.5 billion years. Okay? So, organisms have inhabited Earth for most of its history. Most. There's a lot of time period that there hasn't been organisms, but on some level, there were some organisms that have inhabited for long, long periods of time. All organisms living today share common ancestry with earlier life forms. A lot of scientists agree on that, okay? That there are some ways, not necessarily massive ways, but some small ways maybe, that all life forms kind of share some of the early ancestry, those common ancestry type features, not necessarily looks wise, but even internally. So some of the smallest little details that may have traveled through time to some of the organisms that live today. Okay. Fossils are a big thing. Evidence for evolution. Okay. A fossil is the preserved or mineralized remains of an imprint, or imprint of an organism that lived long ago. Okay. We'll talk about fossils again in second semester. We'll talk about them in depth. But fossils serve as records of the Earth's past life forms, which is a great thing, because then we can study things that are no longer living, extinct. Okay? Fossils allow us to compare modern species to their ancient ancestors, whose forms were often much different, but again, sometimes had some similarities. Okay? Biogeography. Okay? This is the study of how plants and animals are distributed across the globe. A plant or an animal that evolves in one place may spread to other accessible areas of the world. So this reasoning right here, this reasoning can explain why similar species are found on different parts of the world. Okay, Barriers such as rivers and mountains can affect the spread of populations. So that's a big thing that, scientists have taken into account, is this biogeography. All right? All right, so quick and easy, right? Now, I did only touch on the surface of some of these things. I want you guys to know for your unit exam, I'm not going to test heavily on what all of the past evolutionists have come up with. But still read through your lesson, know a little bit about that. But I do want you to know kind of some of the common themes that all these scientists shared. So there you go. I'll leave it with that. We'll get back to section 2 shortly.